Once again, very disappointing result for Miami today. They lose 27-24 to North Carolina. They lose their third straight game, and I know many of you, myself included, expected a better season. Simply put, this has not been a good season. Extremely disappointing with Mario Cristobal, his new staff. It's not been working. Miami has not led in a game in any of the three games that they've lost, and again today that they fell behind. It got down 14-0. So there were some pivotal things I want to talk about in the game that I felt like really made a difference. Also, there were some positives. Certainly, you've got to get the result. And with where Miami stands right now, there's a lot that needs to be fixed moving forward. So obviously with the positives, we saw Tyler Van Dyke throw for 496 yards and 3 touchdowns. He does throw the interception to end the game. But certainly there were a lot of positives with the passing game. Will Mallory stepped up, had over 100 yards. Frank Latson continues to be heavily involved. Colby Young stepped up and had that big touchdown late in the fourth quarter. We'll get into the fourth quarter, what I saw there, including the final drive and some pivotal moments there. But certainly you got to feel more positive about the passing game. Again, Tyler Van Dyke in his post-game press conference, there were a couple things that stood out. First off, he said just the stats didn't matter, and he understood the context of the way it was being framed, that he did have a good game. And yes, he did for the most part. Certainly 496 yards, that's a lot of passing yards, but they lost, and that seemed to be clearly on his mind with where this team is. He did say he feels like this team, he still feels confident in it. Look, they've just got to get results. They've got to stop this 3-game losing streak. There's some certain things that need to be corrected, as I mentioned. I'll get into that. Another thing that stood out to me that Tyler said right at the beginning, was not able to ask a follow-up question to him, but he said that there's some off-the-field issues that are translating to the field. I'm very curious what he meant by that. There's not been anything in particular that I've heard, so I'm very curious what he's saying by that, what's going on behind the scenes with this team, because certainly there are, once again, a lot of expectations with this team, and rightly so. This was a veteran team, an experienced team, even with the first-year head coach in Mario Cristobal, even with the new staff. There were a lot of the same pieces, including Van Dyke, which gave you confidence that this team could have a good year in the first season. Certainly that's not happened at all. It's extremely disappointing, but again, there are some positives with the passing game that stepped up. Sticking with the offense, and what really hampered the offense, including the red zone offense, there was a point in the first quarter early on in the game, and you're not thinking it's really going to be a big deal if it works out or doesn't work out, but it certainly seemed to be that when you had 1st and goal from the 2-yard line, they take it four straight plays. They did not score a point. North Carolina turned that into an 8-play drive. They got themselves into the end zone, go up 14-0. And for a team that has struggled with its starts, averaging under 8 points a game in the first half coming into it in their last 3 games, a team that has not led since that Southern miss in the second week, I thought they really needed to start off well. And I felt like getting points would have been good. I thought they should have kicked a field goal there on that 4th down, because look, if you don't get in the first 3 downs from 2 yards out, there's no reason why you think you should be able to get in. And if you do, you got to the 1, they throw that pass to Will Mallory. I thought it was a poor play call, but I would have liked to see them take the points when normally I would say go ahead and go for it. But certainly they're really struggling there. That's why I think, just getting some points, it's obviously not what everybody wanted. And it was continuing throughout the game where they were consistently going for it on 4th down. We saw they, even on their own territory in the second half, they did that, weren't able to get it. And I think that was a big factor with this game. They weren't able to convert enough 3rd down and 4th down plays consistently. North Carolina did a better job of that. Even though Miami would finish with over 500 yards of offense, I thought there were some key moments that they weren't able to convert on those key downs and also inside the red zone. With the running game, there's a lot of things coming into play here. Miami wants to run the ball, but they're not doing it. Again, 41 yards, 23 carries. Henry Parrish didn't do it. Jalen Knighton struggled running the ball, not getting a lot of opportunities, and Thad Franklin not getting opportunities as well. Jalen did have that long pass, but he also had the turnover. So, there were some mixed results going on with the backs. Offensive line not creating enough holes. Cristobal said after the game that he's going to go back and figure out what's going on with the run game, because certainly at some point during the season, they were running the ball, but the competition's ramping up. Plus, you've put that on tape. Teams are now gearing towards that stop in the run, and it certainly became a big factor today in those 3rd and 4th down situations, red zone as well. And because you didn't have that balanced offense, that North Carolina still had the advantage, and Miami did not win this game because they just couldn't score enough points, even though they were getting the yards that they needed. So flipping it to the defensive side of the ball, Miami gets off to a bad start. They give up a 74-yard touchdown pass, and this is coming off the Middle Tennessee game where they give up all those big plays. So that was certainly disappointing. On that play, Even though Tyreek Stevenson was guarding the receiver, I actually thought it was safety Cameron Kitchens, who was supposed to be back in coverage, looked like he was in zone. Kitchens has to get over there faster, cannot allow that big play, especially what's been happening in recent weeks. So Miami gives up another big pass play. Also, it gave Drake May confidence, gave North Carolina confidence. North Carolina gets up to 21 points, 21-7 there was the lead. Then Miami was able to get something going there at the end of the second quarter, which I thought really helped them stay in the game. It looked like it was really not going their way, and Miami gets a touchdown, a good touchdown pass by Tyler Van Dyke. And then they get a turnover by Keontra Smith right there in the final 2 minutes there. So Miami goes into the break only down 21-17. That was great momentum, especially at home. Just to give some positive, I've touched on the things that were going on with the early starts. The first quarter goes scoreless, but you score 17 in the second quarter. You've got to be feeling a lot better about yourself that you're right there, in the second half. They come out in the second half, and Kitchens had the interception in the second half, so it helps make up for the big long touchdown I thought he gave up. And the defense did a pretty good job in the second half for the most part. They only give up 6 points in the second half, able to keep Miami's offense in the game, allow them to, just keep it close. So the defense did a pretty good job in the second half. Didn't allow the big plays. However, in the fourth quarter, I thought Miami's defense needed to get off the field a lot quicker. They gave up an 8-minute drive, 18 plays, really just milked the clock. Now, it resulted only in a field goal, which was good. However, 8 minutes off the clock, it really kept Miami's offense really limited in terms of how many possessions you were going to get in the fourth quarter. And when you're chasing points, when you're down, you need all the possessions you can get. Colby Young came up big on the drive, caught that nice touchdown. We'll see if it means more playing time for Colby moving forward, but really good sign. And they nearly recover the onside kick. Al Blades Jr. just steps out of bounds, but a good heads-up play, a good try there. And certainly they weren't able to do that, but Miami gets the ball back. 1:14 left. From the 10-yard line, no timeouts, with Tyler Van Dyke, having a hot game. So they don't push the issue on that final drive. I thought they needed to push the ball downfield a little bit more. They do get out of bounds a couple times, but a short pass to Jaleel Skinner, who's unable to get out of bounds, a true freshman, not understanding the importance of getting out of bounds. They don't clock it. They run a play. They still had a lot of yards to go, but Tyler throws the interception, just kind of heaves it up, running against the clock. I thought they could have done a few things better there. It's just how it goes. You just can't let it get down to those final tough moments there. Once again, the drain in the clock there really limited Miami's offensive possessions. So Miami comes up short once again, 27-24. Big picture, I think that's what everybody wants to know about. Certainly 0-1 today, 0-1 in the conference, but big picture, they've got to get some things corrected. This feels like a team that's just going to be in a dogfight each and every game, no matter who the opponent is. I'm not so sure they're going to dig themselves out of it. Maybe they win one here and there. We'll see how things go. The players, they kind of reacted, honestly, similar to very many, the other losses that they've had over their careers. There wasn't anything different with this one. It wasn't anything tougher. Cristobal is kind of getting used to the losses too. I know he doesn't want to lose, but there wasn't anything different, is all I'm saying. Nothing different that he said in the post-game press conference. He did say he was glad that the team fought hard, but look, you guys didn't sign up to watch this team play hard and come up with empty results. Again, this was a top 25 team in the preseason, a team picked to win the Coastal. Certainly you're only 0-1 in the Coastal. You could still win the Coastal, but however, you're not going to win it if you continue to play like this, continue to allow teams to do real well, and you don't correct certain things, and you allow your offense to not the offense is not scoring. Offensive coordinator Josh Gaddis has to figure out more of an identity with this team because they're just now starting to throw the ball. Cristobal said Tyler got hot, so they went with that a little bit more. But look, they're not running the ball. Whether they want to or not, they're not running the ball effectively. They're not getting the wins. They're not running the ball inside the red zone well enough. They're not getting inside to the end zone. So they've got to figure out what they need to be. I felt like going into this year, they had to really rely on Van Dyke to throw the ball. I like his receivers. You're starting to see why, I think you're starting to see why I've been high on Frank Ladson since the offseason. I do think he can make plays. You saw it today. I think Brashard Smith is coming on. And like I said, Colby Young, Will Mallory made some plays. Certainly didn't come up with that big play in the second half. But for the most part, over 100 yards, which is really impressive for a tight end. A good day for Will to build on as well. And you need him to do that with Elijah Arroyo officially out for the rest of the season. We'll see how this team bounces back against Virginia Tech. Drop in the comments. Let me know, how disappointed are you? Can this team bounce back? How, just your overall thoughts. What are some things that I missed that I didn't touch on because I'm just trying to do this instant reaction after the game? There's a lot to get into with this one because all the position units needed to do something a little bit better to get this win. They did not get the win, and that's just where they're at right now. 2-3, 3 straight losses. Let me know what you think, but definitely want to thank everybody for being here. If you guys are watching this to the end, if you're watching this team continue to put up empty results, you're diehard fans, and I appreciate you for being here. And thanks for supporting the channel. I'll keep doing what I can do, provide content, commentary. I've got some other things planned, but just overall disappointed. I'm sure you guys are as well. So hopefully have a good rest of the night, good weekend. Drop in the comments. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Thanks for watching.